Hi everyone, it's Linda from Linda's Ease here in Arlington Heights, Illinois. I have some really fun things for you today. I'm going to introduce a very special guest, but before I do that, I really want to tell you about the great things we have going for all of our YouTube and video customers, and that is our Club 25. I think it's one of the best things we've ever done. Our staff works so hard at it. We want to thank you so much for all of you that have signed up as members. It is really a wonderful way to learn all kinds of different techniques on quilting, sewing, embroidery, serging. And what the club is it meets once a month. It is now, because after COVID, of course, we are back in our store. But that doesn't mean those of you that are in Montana or Florida or California or wherever you are cannot join. Because the great thing about this club is that we videotape it. We have a wonderful crew that is just an amazing team that goes in there and really does all the editing and everything for you. So you always have access to it. So if you sign up now for this Club 25, which starts next week, I believe September 24th, and you can sign up for the next one too, but it's best to start at the beginning if you can. But the great part about it is that you're never going to miss anything, because not only are you going to get all of 2025, but you are going to have all the back issues, the back videos of all of the videos since 2020. So that's huge. I can't even tell you the amount of, I myself go back and look at them occasionally because there's always something really good that I want to see. And that's all available for you. It's in your archives. You'll be able to always access it. The club is quite reasonable. You get discounts. There's just some really wonderful things. So I'm sure we'll put it on the screen so you can see how to do it. There's a link that you'll just be able to click on and sign up. And I hope you do it. I think it really will give you a great avenue to expand your sewing creativity and connect with other people. We always are looking for comments, and we have a lady that was, not too long ago, showed something. She was from another state, absolutely gorgeous, and it was one of the most inspirational things. So it was a quilt that was just to die for. Anyway, I'm just, as you can tell, very excited about our clubs. They have been very successful. We've got wonderful teachers that just do really creative things. So click on that button and join up. Now, I also want to talk to you about what we're going to do today. We have Mary here. Some of you maybe know her as our Serger lady. She's just an amazing, talented lady working on sergers. And one of the things that we have available right now, we're so lucky that we placed this order, but we have a huge selection of the new Bernina 890 Quilting Editions. These are going to be for sale, and there's a pre-sale on them before they go into our classroom at the Fall Festival. They're going to be used for demonstrations, so they're brand new sewing machines. You can put a deposit down. All you have to do is call us. They're very, very reasonably priced. This is a great time to get yourself into a serger. And I know some of you are probably kind of shaking your head and saying, what did she say? Did she say serging and quilting? That's exactly what I said. Bernina came out with this beautiful, beautiful 890 Serger. It is a quilting edition. In the Fall Festival, Pam Massey, who is the international educator in charge of Bernina Sergers all over, she's just an amazing, amazing person and one of the nicest people I've ever met. She is going to be at our Fall Festival. She's going to be working on these sergers, and she's going to show you why every single person needs a serger. So let's get started. We filmed this back in 2020. This is one of the serger classes, and those of you that have an 890 will love this. Those of you that don't are going to learn so much, because she's talking not only about Bernina. I believe she has a Triumph that she's going to be showing too, another technique. But it doesn't matter what brand of serger you have. When you're taking this and looking at this, take some notes, because she's going to give you some really great tips. So enjoy the video and hope to see you in the store soon, or always email me and subscribe. Thanks so much. See you next week.
Hi, this is Mary. I'm bringing you Serger Club today. Welcome back. I'm so pleased to be back, even if it's virtually. We're going to have so much fun because as you're doing the project at home, you can put me on pause and I'll give you measurements and things like that for the project, and you can serge along with me at home. So we're ready to go. Today's project is going to be similar to this, but we're going to do it on both edges. We are making what I want to call a table runner for the holidays, but the value of it is you can change out your colored towels, and we have them in all sorts of colors, or if you don't want to use a ready-made towel, you can put fabric here. So I'm going to show you 3 techniques today. I'm going to show you the rolled hem, I'm going to show you making piping, and I'm going to show you gathering. So we're going to start with the rolled hem, and we're going to start here. I'm in front of the beautiful new Bernina L890. It is a fantastic machine. And as I come to features on the machine, I'll explain why you want this machine. So we're going to go to home, and we're going to go into guided mode, and I'm going to look for my rolled hem, and it's a 3-thread narrow stitch for those of you who are sewing along at home. It's called a 3-thread rolled hem. I'm going to touch it, and it tells me on the screen exactly what to do. How can you go wrong? You don't even have to drag out your manual. So I'm going to lift my presser foot, scroll to the next step, unthread. Well, I'm not threaded, so I can scroll to the next step. Attach the presser foot. I've already have it on. Adjust the pressure to 4. And guess what? It will show me a movie if I need to know how to do this. How much easier can you get? This is a wonderful machine. So we're going to stop that because I don't need that. We're going to X out. We're going to go to the next page. Insert the needles in the position shown. This is the right needle. There's a movie. We're going to advance. Activate the knife. My knife is here on the side. Very convenient. It wants it up. We're going to do the rolled hem. Adjust the cutting width, which is right down here. I want a 5.5. Attach the knife cover insert. For those of you who are new to serging, and I know we have many of you who just got your serger, some of your sergers will have a rounded curve, and some of your sergers will have a flat table. The flat table is for the machines that only have the cover hem. This machine does do a cover hem, and will do cover hem, but not today on it. So we want the knife cover insert, and it very simply snaps into place. And now they want, this is the best part, they want us to thread the machine. I'm going to thread with woolly nylon today for a rolled hem. This is my Wonderfill Soft Lock, and I have Hugo's Amazing Tape over it to keep it wrapped up while it's not in use. It's a static cling tape. I can just pull it off and then reuse it. The nice thing about this, now we're going to activate the upper looper. So Bernina has a feature with their foot control that you can go step on the foot control, and it will bring your needles into the highest position. So I want to activate that. Now my needle is in the highest position. I'm going to turn and activate my air threading all in one step. I'm going to do my upper looper, although with air I could do any one I wanted. This is the blue path for upper looper. Your machine might be a little bit different. I want a sharp edge on my thread. Now, a lot of people have a hard time with a woolly nylon type thread. Bernina is going to take this, you're going to focus on my upper looper, and it's going to pull it in with air, and I'm threaded. I am going to put my blade down and turn my foot out so I can get this over there. Now, the swinging out of the foot, this is a Bernina exclusive, that it swings away so that I can have easier access to both my needles and getting my thread behind. I'm going to thread the lower looper, same method. Oops, we want this here. We want this here. Snap it into place. Bring it down. You want just that much thread. I need to give a sharp point on my thread. All you need to do is hold it above what I call the airport hole. Don't let go of it till you're ready. And it snags it in. I didn't quite have enough, so I'm going to shoot through a little bit more, and there it is. Now I'm going to do my right needle, which is green. Everything is color-coded. Your serger probably is too. Green, follow my thread path. Actually, since I'm in guided mode, we want to say that we did the upper looper. Hook out upper looper converter. We'll talk about that down the road. That's a little piece that converts your upper looper to having no thread at all. Select the rolled hem selection lever. Most of you have that on your machine. We want to put that to R for rolled hem. Thread the following thread paths or change thread as required. Your right needle, your upper looper, and your lower looper. We're on our right needle right now. Always put tension. Follow your thread paths. Don't let go of your tension until you're in your needle area. It tells me to change off of the air threading, and now I am set up. Now, the nice thing here is on the screen, it's already picked my tensions for me. I don't have to look in my manual. I don't have to guess. I don't have to tweak. If I do want to tweak, guess what? I can put this into memory on the L890. It is such a fantastic machine. We are ready to do a rolled edge. So what I'm going to do first is we're taking the towel and I am going to cut on each of the wide edges on this side. I'm going to fold it in half, right sides to right sides, so I can see that area. And I'm going to take my rotary cutter and cut that hem off. And I'm going to do that on both sides. Which means you'll lose the hanging loop, but we're not going to hang this. If you wanted to hang this as a decorative towel, just do one edge of the towel. I'm using the Alex Anderson Quilters Select rotary cutter, and I absolutely love it. So we're going to work on the bottom, and we're going to do two sides for each side. So I'm taking you can go anywhere from 3.5 to 4.5 to 5 inches, however long you want it. And we're going to roll one long edge. We're going to remember to put the knife blade up. And we're going to put half speed on. I have speed selection on this, but I have it on the screen. I can go right there and I can select my speed. I can go all the way up to 1350 stitches a minute or down to 600 stitches a minute. I'm going to stay at about 900 stitches. I like medium speed. I'm going to hang on to my tails. And I'm going to roll my edge. When my tails start, I can let go of it, get it out of the way. I'm not trimming. I am just lining up my fabric against the side of my blade. If I'm trimming at all, it would be what we call those loose fibers or the scuzzies. And I'm going to do both sides of this. And I've got a nice rolled edge going. Now, if you want, on a rolled edge, you can use in your upper looper only your woolly nylon or your Wonderfill or what you're using. I've used Pearl Crown for a nice edge. I've used our new thicker threads. So it's entirely up to you. If you're rolling an edge on sheer gauze, which we'll do later in the season, I'll show you a little trick with water-soluble topping to help your rolled edge stay. And we're just going to run off. And cut. So what we've accomplished is the rolled edge on one length of the gathering strip. We're going to gather next. This is the strip that we're making right here. Okay, this was a kitchen print. So we're going to gather it next, and you can see that I've got almost double the length that I need. If you hold it up, I've got double the length. I don't know how tight of a gather I'm going to do, and I want extra because we have to, on the other side, fold it over just a little bit and fold it over. So right now I'm going to set the machine up for a 4-thread overlock. We're going to go, and you get to see it thread again very nicely. We're going to go into the guided mode again. So I'm going to go back to home screen, go into guided mode. There is an expert mode on this machine also. Expert mode I could use very easily most of the time. What it does, it goes right to the stitch and just shows you upper looper, lower looper. That's it. Your needles, the placement, the tension. The guided mode I kind of like. It prevents me from missing a step in the process and then wondering, what did I do wrong? So I do like the guided mode. I'm going to pick my stitches. We're going to say, okay, I don't want to put anything into memory. We're going to go into overlock. And we're going to go into 4-thread overlock with the integrated safety seam. So lift the pressure foot. Now, Bernina does make a knee lift lever. And I could have, it's a freehand system, I could have raised and lowered the pressure foot with this. However, on this table, and to show, it's a little hard sometimes to do that. So scroll to the next step. No threading, no unthreading required. The machine sensed it was already there. Attach the same pressure foot I have on. Adjust the pressure foot pressure. Bernina has the pressure foot pressure in increments. We go from 1 to 6. So I can, by number, raise and lower it. So when I'm doing something very, very thick fabrics, going over bulky seams, I can raise it up, or I can lower it if I'm doing gauze and I want more pressure to hold that fabric down. But right now we're going to stay on 4. I have to put back in a needle. I have my needle foam pads right here. So I'm going to take from my tools on board, my little screwdriver. And for those of you at home, you want your left needle and your right needle in. I can take my needle inserter tool, I can swing out my foot, lower my blade, have enough room. Only loosen your set screws halfway. A set screw is what holds your needle into the machine. You don't want to take them out completely because they're small. They're no bigger than 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch. And you want to retighten that set screw down. You don't want to man-tight it down because then you're over-tightening it and you could possibly have a hard time taking it out the next time. So just tighten it enough that it's not going to fall out. Now, I don't know if you can see this on camera very easily, but my needles are not the same length. That is absolutely correct. The way a serger works is your needles are never the same length. They are in there for the reason they're at, for the length. Typically, one will hit the fabric first, one does not. They are the same length coming out of the package, but not once they're in. And you can look in your little windows. There's little windows here to make sure that you can see the tip of the needle in the window, because that way you know it's what we call all the way up. So now we're going to change the thread. I'm setting up for a 4-thread overlock. So I've got my 4 threads here, and we're going to continue on our guided mode. Activate the knife. I'm going to keep the knife down until we're ready because it's out of my way and I can see and I can bring back the threads underneath the foot. Adjust the cutting width back to 6.0. By the way, Bernina on this 890 and the 850 has the widest cutting width in the industry. I can turn this all the way to a 9. Most other machines stop at an 8 or even a 7. So you can get like a 5/8 of an inch seam on this machine, no problems. So we're going to continue on with the cutting width. Attach the knife cover insert. We talked about that. That's our curved insert. Activate the upper looper. So I'm going to bring with my foot pedal, my needles all the way up. And they were all the way up, so that's done. And now I'm going to activate the loopers. I want my needles all the way up. I want to take my knob, turn it, and I'm just doing basic white threads. I could do the loopers in any color. I prefer, or any order. I prefer always using, because I teach all different sergers, I always believe in going upper looper, lower looper. So if you're at home with a machine that is not an air threader, there we go. We're going to raise this, swing it out. Make sure you go upper looper and then lower looper. Make sure you floss. Hang on to the threads. My skin is dry. Sometimes there we go. Now I'm going to do on this one, since my thread feeds in from the left, I'm going to do the left needle. Actually, I'm going to do the right needle first. Which is my green. Hold on to the thread, follow your path. Swing my foot out. I could use my tweezers. They come with tweezers, tools on board. Now for my yellow. Floss it, guide it. Make sure it clicks into its little places. We're back. We've done our steps. Selection from the rolled hem. I would have forgotten this, so it's good I'm using my guided mode. We have to go back to overlock instead of rolled hem. The micro thread control, otherwise known as MTC, is exclusive to Bernina, and that's where we can adjust any little threads that are hanging off the edge of the fabric. It wants me to be on 0, and I am. Thread the following thread paths. We did that. We can say done. We can turn my air off. If I forget to turn the air off, I have a safety feature built in. Now, I'm set up here for 4, 4, 4, and 4. So those of you at home, this is for a standard overlock stitch. And I'm going to test it just really quick. Put the blade back up. And I'm just going to run one little edge here. I know I've got extra here, so it's okay. I'm going to test this. I did not hang on to my tails, so that's where I'm having a little bit of an issue. That's me. And my stitch is fine. Now, what I want to do is to gather this. So I'm going to have to change the tension. So write this down. We're going to go to at least a 6 on my left needle, at least a 6 on my right needle. Right now I've got 6.2, 6.2. I'm going to go with it. I can change it as I go. And we're going to change the upper looper to a 6 and the lower looper to a 6. I wouldn't have to, but I want a nice gather. So now I know we're taking our fabric and we're going to gather this edge. And again, this is where we're going to go only against the blade. We're also going to change our stitch length to, I can go up to 4.5 on this, which is a little longer than some machines give you a 4.0. And I'm going to change my differential to 2 to help it gather. And see what it's doing? It is gathering. Now, I want a little bit more of a gather, so I'm going to open up my needles, and I'm going to go up to maybe a 7.5 or an 8, and just bump all my little tensions up a little bit. So I'm gathering even more. And let's go all the way to a 9. I have extra here, and it'll be fine. And you can see how it just gathers. It's gathering. So I'm going to do the whole strip because I can cut it down to size. And I'm going to do both pieces. And if you want, you can put your hand here, and that helps push the gathering so that it gathers even more. But I like this gather here, and I don't think I need any more. So now I've got a gathered strip. We have 2, 1 for each edge. And now we're going to go make our piping insert, and then we will swap out machines because as of yet, I don't have a piping foot for the Berninas. It is coming, so I'm going to switch to a different machine that I have set up to do a piping. So we're making this little insert piece right here. It's called piping. Now, if you don't have a piping foot, you can take it over to your sewing machine and do it with a zipper. So there's ways around it. Now, on the 890, we don't have a cording foot or the piping foot as of yet. We're working on a prototype, but it is coming. So I've switched out to the Baby Lock Triumph, which I have, and I've already put on the piping foot or the cording. It's interchangeable. I am set up for a 3-thread narrow seam. And you could use a 4-thread. I prefer using the 3-thread because then I will cover it up with the 4-thread and none of my stitches will show. So I've taken my strip, I've cut it down to almost even with the towel. I want a little bit left over because I want extra on both edges to get this piping. So I've got my little 2-inch strip, that's all you need. 2 inches wide. You don't even have to cut it on the bias. Make sure your cording is top and bottom, and fold it right sides out, cording in the middle. Raise your foot and put, and this is the hardest part of all, there's a little channel under the piping foot. Put the piping in that channel, lower your foot, start in front of the blade. Very important you start in front of the blade. Hang on to the piping here, and then go ahead, and once it's guided through, then this is where I'll guide it with my hands. Now I have speed control on this right here. I'm a moderate speed sewer. I don't like going really fast. And I want to make sure I keep this as straight as I can. I'm going to make 2 of these because we're doing both edges, remember. So you can stop and finger fold it over. And again, you can do this on your sewing machine if you don't have this foot. And we're almost to the edge. Here's my tail and the bottom. And now I'm going to get my other piece and do the same procedure so you can see it one more time. Your piping has to, you have to have at least 3 inches extra so that you can get underneath. Line it up in the groove underneath the foot. The edge starts in front of the blade. Hold on to the piping and help feed it. Once it grabs it, see, like that, it did not grab it, so now you get to see in real life. We're going to pull it back out and start over. Remember, this is why you have extra fabric, so that if something like this happens, you're okay. And I'm going to measure here, and I can cut that part off and we'll still be good. So I want it underneath. Guide it underneath. My fabric probably wasn't quite far enough in front of the blade, and again, that's huge. So we're going to stop, fold, and there we go. Now I can go at a faster pace here. So just keep straightening. I'm finger holding down where the cording is so it stays at the fold. Then when I'm ready at the end, I take this, I don't want it cut off, so I take this and hold it out to the side, switch my hands, and go like that. And at this point, we will set up now with the 890. We'll bring the 890 back for the 4 thread and we'll finish off the project. So we're back with the L890, the Bernina 890. I'm going to go back into guided mode. I'm going to pick my stitch. I want my 4 thread overlock. I'm going to go through all the stages. I'm not actually going to do anything differently other than my tensions. And Bernina, because this is quality made Bernina, this is a prototype. The new ones are on order, so if you have your deposit down, good going. They'll be coming in sometime in October-ish, we believe. Bernina has the ability to temporarily alter, save the altered memory. So it saved my memory for me as a temporary stitch. So I'm going to open up and just reset and say done my original 4 thread overlock. If I would have wanted to, I could have saved that gathering stitch into the machine, and then every time I gather, I wouldn't have to play with it. But because this has to go back to Bernina, I didn't do that. So now what we're going to do is we've got our gathered strip, we've got our towel, we've got our piping strip, and we have to layer. So first thing we're going to do is, this is just about perfect for my towel width. So my ratio, because this was the fold, was probably almost 2 to 1, a little bit shy of 2 to 1. I have to take this and this, and because I'm using a Kona cotton solid, there is no right and wrong side. I want to wonder clip this too, and then we're going to 4-thread overlock this down. So I'm wonder clipping it right side to right side. And we have wonder clips on the website in the store. They're great. I never, ever, ever use pins with the serger. If you run over a pin, you're going to damage your machine. We use the wonder clips always. I wish I had invented them. So we're clipping this. Or if you feel secure in your stitching, you could finger hold it and go the whole length. Notice that I'm wonder clipping it. And I'm going to get to the edge, and that's where I'm going to cut off my excess length with my scissors before I even go. And then we will do some straightening up with the rotary cutter before we attach it. So I'm going to do this to both sides, and I am going to just do a 4-thread overlock. And I did not turn down my differential. I did my stitches. I can see it start to gather. I don't want a gather. So my differential has to come back down to 1. And my stitch length, I want my normal 2.5, 2.5 is typically standard. So we want the 2.5. Take your wonder clips off as you come to it, and let your machine sew with that 4-thread overlock. Now, you could do this, we're going to do it a slightly different way, maybe on the other edge. You could do it all in one with your sandwich of piping, but sometimes it's harder to hold and manipulate. We'll try it this way on this one, and then we'll see how it works on the other edge. Clip. Run a test. Make sure you caught all your gathers. And I don't see where I had any, what we affectionately call vacations. Now we're going to take this. So what I've done, and I'll show you how to do it, I've already pinned with wonder clips. I shouldn't use the word pin. I put in the piping, the insert, and the gathered piece. So what you do is you take your towel or your fabric, you lay it right side down, right side up, I should say, right side up so it's facing you. You take your piping strip, raw edge to raw edge, and we're going to get rid of that little towel loop, which I didn't get rid of. Raw edge to raw edge. And then you take your insert, and that's also right side now to the right side of the towel, raw edge to the raw edge. And this is where we wonder clip. And at this point, go ahead for ease, pick it up. And wonder clip all the way down, catching all of the raw edges. Now, I did switch back to the baby lock because we have piping, and with that piping cording, we have to have the piping foot to run under the little ridge. So I have switched back. It's already been threaded up. And all that remains now is to serge with a 4-thread overlock all of your layers. So I'm going raw edge to raw edge all the way down. And don't worry about anything overhanging, because I'll explain to you how you will finish off. Oops. How you'll finish off your towel. So we have the raw edge all the way to the edge of the towel. I have some on the edge of the towel. We can actually start there because that's the piece of piping we want to come underneath the piping foot. We're going to put the foot down. Before I do begin, we are going to put in one needle to make it a 4-thread overlock. That way it will get closer to the piping strip. And again, needles, you use your little set screw. You turn your set screw halfway. Make sure your needle is all the way up. Turn your set screw back tight, lady tight, not man tight. And at this point, I want one more spool of thread. In the left needle. And we're going to thread that up. Give me a moment. So we're inserting the piping strip underneath on the piping foot where the groove is for it, and we're going to start threading with a 4-thread overlock stitch. Make sure I'm on 2.5 stitches to 3, and we're going to go. And it handles your layers. Make sure everything is flat and out. Finger press. Feel free to cut a little bit off, whatever is sticking out. You're going to come down to the edge of the towel and you're going to run off of the edge of the towel. You've got excess fabric there. Just run that all the way off and turn. So what I will do now is take this to my cutting table. And what I want to be able to see the right side. Straighten it out. With your rotary cutter and your ruler, I'm going to cut all but a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch off on both sides. That's excess. I don't need it. At this point, you will take it to your sewing machine. And what you will do is you will take this edge here and fold it under and do a straight stitch all the way down. So what I did is, you can even run right now just like this, your 4-thread overlock. Go ahead and keep the piping foot on. It won't hurt it. You're doing a clean finish edge is what you're doing. You're not going to hurt the towel or anything like that. And then you're going to take this part and fold it down. I'm hoping my cameraman can come in close so you can see that that's folded down, because then when you're all done, you go to the sewing machine and do a straight stitch, and that taps that down. Do that same procedure on both edges or one edge, your choice. And now I have a tabletop on both edges. If I do it on one edge, I have a kitchen towel, decorative kitchen towel that I can fold and hang. So thank you for coming to our virtual Serger Club, sorry. But that reminds me, we do have Sew Club, Embroidery Club, and Serger Club, all for a great value, $199 if you're a new member, and we welcome new members, or $149 if you're a returning member. You'll get your virtual passcode. You can watch this over and over and over again, because I know it's hard to get all the measurements, so you can go back, put me on stop, and go forward. The same with the Sew Club and the embroidery. You can watch them at your convenience all year round. Thank you, and we'll see you in the store soon.